Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. My name is Brett, and you're watching Adventurous Gardener. Despite having an unseasonably mild winter here in Zone 6B, a warm breeze signals that spring is now upon us, something I think both gardeners and adventurers alike tend to appreciate.
Well, good morning, good morning. Come outside because I saw something strange in the garden. Cool. This is growing nicely. The lilies are starting. But that's not it. I saw something yellow. Oh yes, the very first flower of spring here. You are magnificent.
The spring equinox passes on the 20th of March. As time marches on, the days grow longer and the sun gets a bit higher each new dawn in the southern sky. Local flora and fauna celebrate as the dance of life begins again in the Western Hemisphere. For many, spotting an eastern bluebird is a sure sign that spring has arrived. Their rich blue hue, as it appears to us, is not a pigment, but rather a play of light on the structure of the feathers themselves. I consider us fortunate that this pair has chosen to take up residence once again in a nest box overlooking the garden. It's almost as if the buds on the sugar maple were waiting for their cue from the sky, listening for the thunderclap as their sign to open up. Let's have some thunder. Let's show our support for the sugar maple. Petrichor, the scent that accompanies a nice spring rain after a hot and dry spell. Did you know about that word? While we're on the subject of water, there is activity in the pond as the koi and goldfish begin to shake off the long winter and prepare to feed for a growing season of their own. Peering up through the budding branches of this purple leaf plum tree is a reminder of how incredible the transformations are in the world of horticulture. Our beloved plants put on an awe-inspiring show, feeding on a diet of nutrients from the soil, water, and starlight. But don't blink, for nature's greatest feat is perpetual motion. The only real constant is change. Everywhere we look, there is something to learn. Patience, acceptance, and resilience can all be observed simply by admiring a tree. Adorning the edge of the forest is a Prunus avium, commonly known as a wild cherry tree. This flowering plant is actually part of the rose family, Rosaceae.
While we're over at the bluebird box here, we'll take a peek. Hopefully we don't disturb anybody. I don't think anyone's in there. I think I saw them out feeding, so we'll take a peek.
Can you count the eggs? Because I can't see what you do right now with the camera.
We made a hasty retreat, and not a moment too soon. Here is Mr. Bluebird, swooping in to make sure everything is copacetic at the homestead. Symbiotic relationships are the close associations formed between pairs of species. Mutualism is a type of symbiotic relationship where all species involved benefit from their interactions. In the case of humans and bluebirds, they are quite tolerant of their oddly inquisitive landlords and perhaps grateful for a bespoke nesting box. However, simply being able to view our feathered friends gracing the landscape, well, it is my pleasure. A shagbark hickory tree once stood in this garden. Today, we see fungi, nature's cleanup crew, surrounded by butterfly iris flowers waiting to bloom. I think it's important to acknowledge the cyclical nature of all things and to celebrate what is, what once was, and what will be. Just as we bear witness to new life emerging, all cycles that begin must end. To accept this reality is to grasp the concept of aging gracefully and in harmony with the natural flow.
Another project, if you want to see a video on that, go ahead and check out the other videos on the channel here, was the mini woodshed build. The newest pond side addition here is our dwarf Japanese juniper. This is kind of a creeping shrub here. Over here in the elephant garden, aptly named because of the elephant fountain that is located there, we have a variety of pink peony, which is looking very healthy. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shoots popped out of the ground there. Very happy to see that. This is either white or yellow yarrow.
In this garden, we also keep a variety of toxic species, including foxglove, celandine, lupine, and monkshood. Historically, wolves and criminals alike were poisoned with an extract from the plant, also known as wolfsbane. Despite the infamous use of the toxin, in homeopathy, aconite is used to treat fear, anxiety, and restlessness.
Monarda bee balm, one of my favorite plants. This is a tall red variety which has seeded itself from last season, and the patch has grown substantially. Shame on me for not showing you sooner how the dwarf yellow delicious apple trees are coming along, but they are doing fantastic. They have budded out tremendously. It looks like they're putting a lot of energy into the production of fruit, so I may have to limit just how many apples we wind up with in effort to grow the trees bigger and stronger this season, since they were both heavily damaged by buck rub and deer browse. This one's got an open sore, it's trying to heal. On the back side of Driftwood Park here is something everybody asks about, so I'm going to show you. This is a full pine tree that was submerged underwater for 25 plus years, which is why it's still preserved. It's hanging up in the tree by a piece of metal wire, but I put it there as a perch for the birds that are coming in to land looking for some food. On the back side of the bridge, where I had previously planned to have a second pond, I had filled it in with the soil from the dig on the stone cabin, and you'll see all of the nice green sprouts popping out here. This is all wildflower mix, so this is going to be a burst of color.
Speaking of a color burst, this candy corn spirea is so bright in the sunlight that it's practically neon. I know, we were having so much fun. Thank you all for being a part of this partial garden tour and spring 2023 update. I appreciate all the comments, as I love to hear what you're thinking about. Click like if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time, and until then, may you all remain in good health and cherish every moment.